You are listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women, whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now.
Hello and welcome to the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. Welcome to another episode. Man, we're getting near 300 episodes. I lost count, so I'm not on the dot here, but I think we're around 280. Crazy to think that there have been this many episodes and more to come. I ain't stopping anytime soon. It's funny, people always ask me like, oh, you're a dating coach. Is that like, something you're going to do forever? Or is that just like something you just started? And people are shocked when I tell them I've been doing it for, 2011 is when I started in the spring. So that would be almost 8 years I've been doing Trip Advice. But what's funny is I've actually been dishing advice on podcasts since 2009 when it was before I became a dating coach officially and had another podcast. Maybe you've heard of it, Dudes Talking About Chicks. It's no longer around. Did it with my buddy Kyle. But yeah, people get a little shocked when they hear that I've been doing this for such a long time. They're like, whoa, this is like serious. It's like, yeah, man, this is serious. I ain't kidding around. This is my mission to help you with women and dating and understanding how women think, how women feel, what they want, so you can have the desired dating life of your choice, which is possible for you. It is. And as you know, I put out podcasts every single week to help you. Yeah, there's sometimes I miss a week here or there. It does happen. But as you know, I've been consistent for you because I want to be here for you through this whole process. I know a lot of guys are in different situations. Some guys are just starting. Maybe this is the first time you've even heard this podcast. Maybe you've been a listener for the past 4 years that this has been around. Either way, thanks for stopping by. A lot of guys aren't aware that I actually have a program. So, guys, they listen to the podcast and they love it. They get great advice. They get a lot of help. But they aren't aware that there's a program out there that I have created to help you from step A to step Z. Meaning step A, you have no idea what to do with women. And step Z, you are having the dating life you desire. You're sleeping with women you want to sleep with. You're getting into relationships with women you want to get into relationships with. You're creating the ultimate dating life for you. Well, I teach you how to do that in my program called Hooked. Here's a little snippet so you can hear about it.
Hey, it's Trip Kramer. How would you like to be the man that women are naturally drawn to and command the animalistic magnetism that makes women desperately compete to become your lover? It's not enough to attract her. You've got to get her hooked. And that's why I'm inviting you to learn how to create an amazing abundance in your dating life that will make your friends grab you and demand to know what you're doing differently. You'll learn how to turn a female friend into a lover, how to set up a first date that naturally leads to sex. You'll even learn to get your ex-girlfriend or wife back if that's what you want. This program, Hooked, will get you everything you need to enjoy the sex life and dating life you know you deserve. Go to getherhooked.com to learn how to get a woman completely addicted to you. 100% money back guaranteed. Getherhooked.com.
All right, so don't forget to go get that at getherhooked.com. Now let's get into today's episode where I haven't touched this topic in a long time. Really, it's been a while. It's even been a while since I've talked about it on my YouTube channel. We're talking about the 10 texting mistakes. Man, oh man, do I see this. And I still see this when I work with my clients. That's right, I do offer coaching. If you're interested, just email me trip@tripadvice.com with the subject line coaching and I can help you out. But I just see this all the time through coaching, through my Trips Corner Facebook group that you get access to when you are a member of Hooked. And I just see it from guys who are DMing me on Instagram. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, check me out, Trip Advice. And it's just wild that they still make the same mistakes. And I get it. When I first started meeting women, I didn't know how to ask them out or what do you text them and what's texting all about? How do you get a girl to like you over text? All this stuff. So I answer those questions today on this podcast. So here's the thing. I actually went into the archives for this. So you're going to hear a little bit of a different tone from me. It's not going to be from this mic. This is something I recorded a couple years ago. I took from the archives something that that was released at one point, but now doesn't exist anywhere, but now it exists here on the podcast. And I thought it was really cool. I went through it and made sure that it was advice that I still believe in. And it holds up. It's good stuff. And I want you to check it out here. That's why you're here, to listen to the top 10 texting mistakes. So we don't have to go into any more of the intro here. Let's get into it. I know you've been waiting for this. So here's the top 10 texting mistakes delivered by yours truly. Check it out. Welcome to the top 10 texting mistakes of all time. My name is Trip from TripAdvice.com, and you're watching this video because you are having a lot of trouble with texting. You're not able to get her to text back. You're not able to get her on a date, and you might be making these core mistakes that I'm going to be showing you right now. Now, these mistakes are some of the biggest that I've ever seen, okay? And I'm going to tell you basically why all this stuff works and how I know that these are mistakes and how I know you can fix them. It's because I've been coaching guys for well over 6-7 years. And that's pretty much the whole time when texting got really big, right? People weren't texting that much until maybe about 2007, 2008. So I've been in the scene of texting girls basically since this whole thing started. And I've made a lot of mistakes. My students over the years have made a ton of mistakes. And I have been, trying to figure out what it is that works and what doesn't work. And so why does this work? Why is the information in this program work? Well, like I said, these are the mistakes that I've seen over and over and over again. The most common mistakes that guys are making during texting. And not only the most common, but the ones that are so easy to fix. And I'm going to help you fix those today on this presentation. So whatever it is that you're having trouble with regarding texting, I promise you're going to find it on this video. And stay to the very, very end because I'm going to be showing you and telling you about the 7 deadly text messages that make a girl want you. So we're going to go over that as well. But first, let's go into the mistakes and let's go into how you can fix these mistakes so you can get girls to respond to you and get them on dates and get them to meet up with you. Okay? So here's mistake number 1, waiting too long to text. So there was a survey done that revealed that 89% of women, they want to be contacted within 48 hours. And I'm so glad that there's actually a survey done on this. I think it was done by datingadvice.com. But that is something that I've been saying for way too long. I've been telling guys that you got to contact them within 48 hours. Now, why is that? Why do you have to contact a girl within 48 hours? Well, think about it, right? A girl's going out, she's getting a bunch of numbers, and she is trying to meet a guy, right? So she's giving away her number to a bunch of guys. And then after that, she's got a lot of guys texting her. One guy's going to wait 1 day, one guy's going to wait 2 days, one guy's going to wait 6 days. Now, you might think, you got to be mysterious, and the guy who waits the longest is going to be the guy who's going to get her. It's absolutely not true. It's actually not true at all. Here's the thing. If you've sparked attraction, if you're able to spark attraction with the girl when you first met her and you got her number, or she's initially interested in you, maybe you meet her at a bar or a club or during the day, on a sidewalk, at a cafe, wherever it is, if you've sparked attraction, she's going to want to hear from you. And most guys, they wait too long to text. This is an old school rule, okay? To wait, 5-6 days. This is like back in the day when there wasn't a lot of people doing a lot of texting, and it's so easy to meet people. You got to realize these days, if you're watching this, anytime in 2015, 16, probably even 2017 and later, at this point, it's very, very easy to meet people. You can get on an app, you can get on online dating, you can go to any kind of, meetup event or something like that. And if she's a quality girl, she's getting approached a lot. So it's easy for her to meet guys. So you got to be the guy who gets in there right away. So I don't want you to wait too long to text her. I want you to text her as soon as possible. So when is that? Within 48 hours. What's the best time to do it? Probably the next late afternoon. Here's an example. Let's say you meet her, get her number on a Friday night.
I want you to be texting her at Saturday at 3 p.m. Okay? Latest Sunday, at 12 p.m. Let's say you meet her Saturday afternoon. I want you to be texting her maybe later that night saying that it was awesome meeting her, or latest maybe that next day, 24 hours later. Don't wait too long to text because you got to be the guy to beat out every other guy because she's got too many options. Okay? So I want you to implement that as soon as possible. That's why this is number one. This was kind of one of the more important ones that guys forget to do.
Hey man, sorry to interrupt. It's still me, Trip. I just wanted to let you in on something that most of my listeners don't know about. It's 10 years of my most effective techniques for meeting and seducing beautiful women condensed into this ultimate training. It's available at getherhooked.com. Don't worry if you're not attractive, rich, or don't have high status. This 10-hour online course gives you the whole system I've created for meeting and attracting the beautiful women in your town. It will help you with approach anxiety, knowing what to say to women on the street and online, how to flirt, my exact texting sequence for getting her to respond, which you can just copy and paste, and how to either get a girlfriend or have multiple one-night stands. This is everything you need to know, and it's all in this one program. Get it now at getherhooked.com. Again, that's getherhooked.com.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Number 2, not using her name. This is so crucial. This is not only a mistake, but this is something that is actually going to help you attract her even more. Okay, this is a little NLP technique. If you've ever heard of neuro-linguistic programming, it's basically a way to build very quick rapport with somebody. That's one of the areas of NLP. It's not the only thing with NLP, but they teach you different methods to be able to get someone to connect with you very quickly. And the best way to do that is to use their name. Think about it. Someone uses your name, it's very personal. Who uses your name in general to begin with? Your friends, your family, people who know you very well. So you're going to almost feel like you know someone very well if they use your name. And that's how a girl is going to feel. So you want to use her name, okay? So, stay away from stupid words like, hey, beautiful, hey, gorgeous, things like that. That stuff is not going to work as well. It's too cheesy. It's just really a bad way to communicate with a girl who you just met. That's for when you actually have gained rapport with her, but you haven't yet. So you need to do that. And a great way to do it is by using her name. So let's say her name is Ashley, right? You're going to say, hey, Ashley, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Ashley, awesome meeting you last night. Let's get together soon, or let's do something soon, or whatever it is. That's not a great example of a text for now, but either way, the point is it's hey, name. Use her name, okay? Or if she says something in text message that, you don't like or you want to tease her on, you can say like, Ashley, period. Come on, you're better than that, right? Something like that. Ashley, period. You're better than that, period. Winky face, right? Throw a winky face in there to make it a little bit more casual so you're not teasing her too hard. But that's a great way to get her to start becoming a little bit more attracted to you because you've gained a connection using her name. All right, let's move on. 3, subject sticking, okay? So here's a big way to kill attraction is guys will stick to one subject over text for way too long. In fact, the reason why I came up with this is because not only are people doing it via text, people are doing this in person too. So what I'm about to tell you about subject sticking, I want you to take this into your actual conversations that you're having with women, whether you're first meeting them or whether it's on the first date, sometime in the beginning of the courtship process, so to speak. But I want you to be able to not stick to one subject because it gets boring, especially over text. If you stick to one thing, it's going to get stale, okay? Now, here's the thing. You might be thinking, well, Trip, here's the thing. What if I end up texting with her and she's loving the conversation. She's loving the subject. Either way, you don't want to stick to it too long because then the conversation, what happens? It goes stale because it only is about that subject. And it's only about that one thing. So for example, if you guys are talking about how you both love some band, right? Let's just say Justin Bieber, for example, even though I'm guessing you probably don't like Justin Bieber. But either way, if you talk about Justin Bieber for too long, or any other musical act, whatever it is, then the conversation is just on that. You need to bring it to other topics. You need to have a wide variety of conversation via text. Okay? That is just one of the biggest mistakes I see guys making. I scroll through their text messages and they keep talking about the same thing. It's boring. Women are not attracted to boring. Women are attracted to guys and who they can have interesting conversations with. Okay? Let's go to number 4. No meaningless texts. Okay? So it doesn't really matter how fun you were when you met her because she'll forget all those positive emotions as soon as you fail to maintain the vibe. So it's really important to keep the fun alive. All right? So what's a meaningless text? How are you doing? What's up? Hi. Right? You got to remember, hot girls, they receive dozens of texts a week from guys just like you. And if you don't stand out, you're going to blend in. So none of these meaningless, hey, what's up? Sup? Hi. Right? All of those completely meaningless. They barely start the conversation. They don't make you stick out. They make you just another guy who's just texting her. You send a meaningless text, you will become meaningless. So don't send that. Everything has to be quality behind it, okay? You need to be thinking of something substantial, right? So not meaningless, something substantial. So instead of texting her hi, you might text her a picture of something that you're doing or something interesting that you're doing right now. Or maybe you're going to ask her an interesting question, right? But you don't want any of those meaningless text messages. None of that. Number 5, I want you to avoid the friend zone, okay? So what does that mean? Well, that means that you're going to have to be flirty with her over text message. That's right. You got to be flirty with her. If you're not flirty with her, then it's not going to work out, okay? You got to make sure that you're sending little teases. You got to make sure that she felt that fun and attraction for you that she had when you guys first met. So avoid being in the friend zone. Avoid, again, kind of related to the last one, like saying what's up or hi, like friendship type of text messages, okay? And I'll show you how to fix this in just a bit with those 7 deadly text messages, okay? But for now, just remember, you want to avoid the friend zone at all costs. And whatever you do, do not send anything that's going to make her think that you're a friend, okay? It's got to be flirty. Number 6, asking too many questions. Wow, that is a great way to kill a vibe and kill attraction off the bat. In fact, again, this is why this is such a great presentation for you, because this is also stuff that's completely related to in-person attraction, talking to her in person, maybe when you first meet her. If you're bombarding her with too many questions, you're going to be going into digital interview mode, which means that you'll be texting her as if it's an interview. And this is not an interview. No, this is a conversation. This is two-sided, two-way conversation, okay? So if you ask questions and she answers, and then you ask another question, she answers, then you ask another question and she answers, this is going to kill attraction, okay? She's just going to be thinking like, this guy is just, has nothing else to say. He just wants to know about me. So you're thinking, all right, Trip, well, what am I supposed to do? She doesn't ask me a question back. What am I supposed to say? Well, like I said earlier, you can send a picture, not a dick pic, something maybe that's interesting where you are, what you're doing. Other things you could do is statements in terms of, something that you're up to that day or something that's going on or something you were thinking about. So instead of asking a question, send a statement to get her to ask the question. Aha, see now, this is powerful stuff here. Listen to me. You want to reverse the roles here. Get her to ask you a bunch of questions. If you can get it to that point, then you're golden, because her asking you questions means that she's interested, that you're intriguing her, and she's attracted. Intrigue helps kind of click on that switch of attraction. When a woman is intrigued by you, she's attracted to you. And by doing that, tell her what you're up to. Tell her what's going on. Tell her your thoughts. Don't just sit there and ask boring questions like, what are you up to today? Or how's your day been? Or so I forgot, what do you do for a living, right? None of those things. You can do it once in a while. It's not a big deal. You can ask a question here and there. It's not the end of the world, but you want to also stick to making sure that you're saying statements, okay? So that's number 6. Number 7, and I hope you're still with me. I hope this is something that you're watching still up to this point, because this should have been number 1. But number 7, biggest mistake, not asking her out. A lot of guys, they won't go for it. I will see text messages, scroll through them, where the guy is talking to the girl forever. And she's interested. She's asking him questions. And he asks me, he goes, Trip, what should I do next? What do you mean, what the fuck do you do next? You got to ask her out, right? You got to ask her out. That is what you got to do. That's what I want you to do. The whole point of texting is to ask the girl out. Get her on a date. Make it happen. Ask her to meet up. Ask her to get a drink. Ask her to go bowling with you. Ask her to do anything with you. But you're not going to be able to get a girl interested unless you ask her out. And plus, what's the point anyways? Do you really just want a bunch of phone numbers of girls you're texting? No, you want to meet up with them. Of course you do. So you got to ask them out. And I hope that this is something where you're like, duh, I already knew this. I really hope so. But for a lot of you, you're not doing it. You're not going for it. You're not asking them out. You're not pulling the trigger. And I know why you're not doing it. Trust me, I was there. You're not doing it because you're afraid of getting that rejection. Yes, I know you are. And it's tough because you don't want, after all this work you put in, after all the texting, after all the things you've been doing to get her attracted, you don't want her to say no to you. But trust me, you got to remember at the end of the day, you asking her out and her saying no, and you continuing to text her is literally the same thing. You're not meeting up with her. So just go for it. Get her to meet up with you and pull the trigger. So that is mistake number 7. Don't make that mistake. Number 8, pre-date jitters. Okay? Pre-date jitters. Guys will ask a girl after asking her on a date, are you still coming? Are you still going to be able to make it? Will I still see you tonight? You're not going to flake on me, are you? They'll text these things. And they'll get a girl extremely turned off. I call it the pre-date jitters, where they're afraid that she's going to flake. Now listen, she might flake. She might not show up. But the fastest way to get her not to is by sending a very needy text like that. You're not going to go anywhere, are you? You're not going to leave, huh? You're not going to, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, you don't want to send her that text. Here's the text I want you to send. And this is really powerful, so write this down. I want you to send the text that says to her, as a way of confirming, because if she doesn't hear from you that day, she might be confused on whether the date is on. So you do want to send something, but it can't be in this pre-date jitter style. So here's what I want you to send. I want you to send, hey Ashley, I'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock. Can't wait, period. Something along those lines. Doesn't have to be exactly that, but something along those lines. Hey, Ashley, see you tonight at 8. Can't wait. Or see you tonight at 8. Whatever it is. Okay? And then you can maybe even ask her, depending on what city you live in, depending on the transportation, does she need a ride? Do a little bit of logistical setup. But that's the way of confirming the date. So gives her the option to flake on you if she does. And yes, you do want to give her that option, because you really don't want to just, hope for the best and then show up and then she does. She doesn't want to see with you, then she doesn't want to see you. You're not going to be, just by sending that text, you're not going to turn her off by just confirming that it's at 8 o'clock. But you don't want to do it in such a way where you're being needy, like you're still coming, right? I can't believe how many times I've seen this. Don't get those pre-date jitters. Be confident she's going to show up, confirm the time, make sure she knows the place, and you'll be golden, okay? The next one is guilt trips. So what happens is when a guy doesn't get a quick response from a girl, or maybe doesn't get a response at all, he'll send something like, why are you ignoring me? Or I thought you were nice, guess I was wrong. He'll send her something to make her feel bad about herself. And this is a big mistake, and I'll tell you why. You might be thinking, well, who cares? You're never going to hear from her again. Why not make her feel bad about it? Well, first of all, that's just a really shitty thing to do, in general. She doesn't owe you anything. She doesn't. If you didn't attract her and she's not interested, she doesn't owe you a text message. Maybe she changed her mind. She's allowed to do that. People are allowed to change their mind. If she gave you her number and then the next day decided, you know what? I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have done that. I actually didn't like the guy. That's not anyone's fault but yours. And I'm not trying to blame you for it, but you got to put yourself in that position so you can be in control. If you blame yourself, in a good way, not in a bad way, like if you blame yourself in a way where you're not saying, oh, I'm a shitty person, but you blame yourself and say, okay, I did something wrong. I can do better. That leaves you in the driver's seat, and then you can control your life. So anyways, I'm getting off track here, but with guilt trips, you don't want to give it to her because, first of all, you never know if they actually were busy and they couldn't get back to you. Or maybe she changes her mind a couple days later, but she's not going to do that if you've given her some sort of guilt trip and making her feel bad for it, okay? So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you don't say anything that's going to make her feel bad, Send the text messages. If she doesn't respond, you can say something along the lines of like, hey, guess you weren't interested. No worries. It was great meeting you anyway. Basically the exact opposite of a guilt trip. But I don't even want you to send that for at least a day or two if she doesn't respond. But even so, don't send that yet. You should send another text completely unrelated to something else. So just send another text regarding anything else, more of a statement rather than a question, to see if she'll respond, because that may be, she might have forgotten about you. Maybe she's texting all of her girlfriends. Maybe she's texting other guys. So don't even give her any sort of ending remark until you know for sure that she's completely ignored you. And if that ending remark is anything that's going to guilt her, trust me, that won't do anything for you in the long run. Okay? Because you never know, she might come back. And plus, you don't want to be a shitty person about it. Okay? I don't think you want a guilt trip. No one wants to feel guilted. So just don't do that. And then after this, stick around because I'm going to be telling you about the 7 deadly text messages that make her want you, and tell you about how you can get your hands on that. Okay? So number 10, being indecisive. This is certainly not least, but it is last. But it's not least. This is important. If you're indecisive, pretty much any time through creating a date with the girl. So we're kind of talking about dates here, okay? If you're indecisive, you're not going to be attractive. You're really not. Girls want a guy who's decisive. It's an alpha male trait. They want a guy who is really firm on his decisions. It's a masculine trait, and it's a masculine trait mainly because you're in control. And a girl wants to be with a guy who's in control of his life, and that's a guy who makes decisions. So when you want to go out and get something to eat with her, or you want to go and get a drink with her, you want to take her on a date, have a firm place at a firm time. Of course, confirm with her if that's something that she wants. You could mention a place that has great burgers, but she could be a vegetarian. Or you can mention doing something at 8 o'clock, but she's still working at that time. And that's fine. What I want you to do is you send a text message like this. You say, hey, Ashley, I have a great idea. What I want to do is I want to take you out to the best burger joint in this city. Let's go tomorrow at 8 p.m. Sound good? So that's being decisive, but then you're saying sounds good at the end to confirm that she's interested. She might say, oh no, 8 o'clock doesn't work for me. Can we go a little bit later? She might say like, oh, I'm actually a vegetarian. So it gives her that opportunity, but it's also being decisive because you're making the decision of where to go. And I can't tell you how attractive that is. If you're being indecisive, like, hey, where do you want to go? What do you like? What do you want to do? That's indecisive. And it's not what a girl wants to hear. If she doesn't want something, she'll let you know. But you got to be the guy to make the first decision. And I want you to do that with everything. Okay? That is going to be so attractive. No guy does that. Guys are too accommodating. And again, when I say accommodating, I mean that loosely. I don't mean you're not accommodating to what she actually wants, but they're just pre-accommodating. They're accommodating before she even knows what she wants. So find out what she wants later, but make a decision before. Meaning, she'll tell you if she doesn't want to go at that time or that place, but you got to have a firm decision in place beforehand. Okay? There you go. 10, being indecisive. Don't be indecisive.